I'm Brandon, one of the co-founders of DeepWalk, and our goal is to make Americans with Disabilities Act compliance simple for municipalities, state DOTs, universities, and the consultants that work with them. So the previous presenters did a great job presenting all the different requirements that you have to meet and sort of some of the consequences of not meeting those requirements. But one thing that is really challenging about meeting, especially the self-evaluation requirements, is actually doing the inspections. So to actually verify or identify issues with accessibility on sidewalks and curb ramps, you need to go out and measure the ramps by hand. And traditionally, that's extremely labor intensive. The training's complicated. And then at the end of the day, you don't get the information you need to go and actually fix the sidewalk. You just know that, okay, the sidewalk is non-compliant and there's these list of things you have to fix somehow. So what we did is we developed some software using the LiDAR sensors on the new iPhones. Whoops. Some software using the LiDAR sensors on the new iPhones where you point at the sidewalk, scan, and it automatically checks the sidewalks and curb ramps for compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. And then it also gets you information you need to go out and address those issues later on. So you scan and it creates accessibility reports, transition planning maps that you can shoot right over to ArcGIS. Then it also gives you information like cost estimation tools and work order tools to go and actually address those accessibility issues that you found. So this is what it looks like. You point your phone at the sidewalk. It's one of the new iPhones. You hit scan and you walk along and you scan it. When it turns green, it's been scanned. One of the big selling points is that training is only 15 minutes and it's designed for summer interns with next to no training to go and do these inspections. And you can cover anywhere from 1 to 1.5 miles per hour, or you can do a single curb ramp in about 45 seconds compared to almost 15 minutes doing it by hand. So it makes a 3D model, and then we have some machine learning software that goes in and breaks it up into pieces, takes the run slope, cross slope, clear width, detectable warning, trip hazards, all the basic ProAg accessibility information, takes that information automatically. And then you can log into our web application and download whatever deliverables that you signed up for. Just to quickly run through those deliverables, the most detailed one is our accessibility barrier reports. So there's a PDF report with a top-down view of the 3D model, and it just drops small colored shapes indicating accessibility issues. So you can really quickly look at these reports and communicate to engineering staff, public works staff, external community members. Most people can see this information and quickly understand what's going on with the ramp. And then we also have our automated GIS mapping. So you can either use our online mapping system through our web application, or we also have an Esri ArcGIS integration to where the 3D model reports and summary information automatically populates into your ArcGIS system. We also have some trip hazard removal work order features that we're working on with a couple trip hazard removal work order or trip hazard removal companies, to where you can essentially select an area and then generate the work orders for a company to come and remove those trip hazards. We also have a 3D cost estimation tool where you can go into your scans and select areas on the 3D models to get your quantities without going back out to the field. You can also take slope measurements, you can do annotations. Essentially, you have a 3D copy of your entire sidewalk system stored within our system. So if you are interested in working with us, we have pilot projects. We're doing a little over 20 this year with universities, state DOTs, consultants, and municipalities across the country. Right now, we're offering our 5-mile pilot projects. It's $3,500. We have an ArcGIS package, and phone rentals are also part of that. And then for consultants, we also have a consultant partner program where we essentially train consultants on how to offer DeepWalk inspections as a service. This is no cost to consultants. It includes it's a completely remote training, no cost. This includes 5 ramp inspections and 5 mid-block inspections. And then you get special consultant pricing moving forward. So just to really quickly run through some of the outputs. of our projects. This is from Danville in 2022. They had one intern in her free time do 60 miles of sidewalk inspections, and she has no civil engineering background. She did a 15-minute training with us, and she inspected 806 curb ramps and 60 miles of sidewalk. And this is a full inspection. And on top of the accessibility information, they're also getting the public works information like the areas, deterioration level, and other things you need to go and actually fix the sidewalks instead of just telling you that everything's non-compliant, because it probably is realistically. Another project that we did that was really interesting was in Corinth, Texas, and we did this with a data collection consulting firm where they flew out there and they had a day and a half to inspect 255 ramps, and they had one person do full accessibility inspections for 255 curb ramps in 1.5 days, which was a really cool case study for us on how quickly sidewalk and curb ramp information could be collected. And I've never met the data collector in person. We did a 15-minute Zoom call before the project, and we just mailed the phones over and they did the scanning, and it was extremely quick. So I think that just speaks to the amount of how quickly you can get up and running with DeepWalk. And this is an ArcGIS experience type deliverable, so it just shows up in the standard template ArcGIS dashboard. And you can see all the accessibility information with the curb ramps. We're working on some census features tying the accessibility construction information to census data in those areas. And then you can also look at the sidewalk information specifically. You can look at deterioration, variety of different things. So that's just a rundown of DeepWalk and what we offer. It's a scanning app that automatically inspects sidewalks for accessibility information and other public works information.